Oh, you mean the movie that traumatized an entire generation of us as children? Hell yeah, let's do it. It opens up in 1960 in Derry, Maine, and we meet Bill and his little brother Georgie, and he's making a sailboat for Georgie to go out and play with on this rainy day. As he's playing, his boat goes down a sewer drain, and he looks into it and sees this fucking thing, who introduces himself as Pennywise the Dancing Clown. Pennywise convinces Georgie to stick his arm in and grab the boat, at which point he attacks him and eats him. Some months go by and Bill is still grieving the loss of his brother, and we see him with his friend Eddie, and the two of them befriend this new boy, Ben. They'll get bullied by Henry Bowers and his gang, so they kind of bond over that. Eventually, they also meet Beverly Marsh, who has this weird, disgusting, gross, abusive father, and she joins the friend group too. Part of this group is also Richie and Stan. Ben immediately develops a crush on Beverly and writes her this little poem, but she has a crush on Bill. And all throughout the summer, we see each member of the group have encounters with this creepy-ass fucking clown. So Ben sees it as an apparition of his dead father, who then turns into Pennywise. Beverly hears voices coming from her sink and then blood spurts out of it. Richie sees it as a werewolf. Eddie sees it in the drain in the showers at school. Bill sees it as a picture of his dead brother Georgie coming to life. One day in the summer, the group finds this new boy named Mike Hanlon being bullied relentlessly by Bowers and crew. And a rock war ensues between all of them, which the Losers Club wins. After that, Mike decides to show them all this project that he's been working on, which is this scrapbook about the history of Derry. And they discover that there is some horrific event that has happened in the town every 30 years, and this clown just always seems to come back. At which point, one of the photos in the scrapbook comes to life, and it's Pennywise threatening them. Bill at this point understands that Pennywise is what killed his brother Georgie, and he convinces the rest of the group to go find the creature and kill it. They go into the sewers, and they don't realize that they're being followed by Henry and crew. And as they're walking through the sewers, Henry and his guys pull Stan away from the rest of the group, so he gets separated. But Pennywise proceeds to kill two of Henry's friends, which leaves him completely stunned and white-haired from fear. Stan makes it back to the group, and the seven of them join hands in the middle of the sewer. The circle is broken when Pennywise shows up and grabs Stan and goes to eat him. Eddie approaches it with his inhaler and sprays it in his face, which causes Pennywise's face to start melting off. And then Beverly hits him in the head with a silver earring, which is supposed to be like a silver bullet. And his head bursts open with this ray of light, and he's injured, so now he jumps down the drain and disappears. They think they've succeeded, and the seven of them leave the sewer and make a pact that if it ever comes back, they'll come back too. It turns out that Henry Bowers is captured and confesses to all the killings of all the children that summer, and he's institutionalized. So we then cut to 1990, 30 years later, and we see this little girl on her bike when she hears this voice. And when she looks, she sees the sheets move and reveal this fucking thing. So Pennywise is back, baby. So he attacks her, beginning another cycle. So it turns out that Mike is the only one that stayed in Derry, and he goes to the crime scene and he knows exactly what the fuck is going on. So he calls all of them, and we get a glimpse into their lives as adults, and we see that they're all very successful. Beverly runs a very successful fashion company, but she married an abusive man. Bill is a successful author, married to his wife Audra, who's an actress. Ben is an architect, Richie's a comedian, Eddie is like in insurance or some shit. I don't know, he does well. All of them agree to go back and help fight it when they get the call from Mike, with the exception of Stan, who proceeds to commit suicide rather than go back and face this again. So the rest of them get back into town, and it was clear that they didn't remember a whole lot, but their memories start coming back to them, and Pennywise starts taunting them once again. Meanwhile, we see Bowers, who is still in an institution, be visited by a vision of Pennywise, who proceeds to help him escape. Meanwhile, we see that Ben's wife Audra is worried about him, and she decides to come to town, and she is very promptly kidnapped by Pennywise, like immediately upon crossing town lines. So Bowers finds them and proceeds to stab Mike, but then falls on his own knife and dies. Bill goes to visit Mike in the hospital, and Mike gives Bill the 2 silver earrings that they used years ago to defeat Pennywise. He said at one point he was really hopeless in his life and wandered into the sewer in hopes that that thing would take him, but instead he found the earrings. The remaining 5 of them know that they have to go into the sewer and finish this, and as they're going down there, Bill sees Audra's purse, so he knows that Pennywise has her. So as they get to the center of the sewer, they find Audra wrapped up in these spider webs, and they see Pennywise in his true form, which is this giant spider. Now, Audra is catatonic because she looked into Pennywise's deadlights, which is underneath the spider's stomach, and the spider is able to momentarily hypnotize Bill, Ben, and Richie with them as well. Beverly has the silver earrings and slingshots them at the creature, and she hits him with one but then overshoots the second. And as she's looking for it, Eddie tries to go up and hit it with his inhaler again, but it just hits the shit out of him. The dead lights disappear, so the other three come out of their trance and they go up to Eddie, who dies in their arms. They proceed to follow the injured creature, and the four of them just go up to it and rip its heart out and crush it. And they defeat it. That's it. Bill goes to get Audra, who's still alive, but again catatonic, takes her out of the sewer. And then they go to tell Mike what happened at the hospital, and they all go their separate ways. They leave Derry again. So Mike explains how after they went their separate ways, all their memories started to fade again. Beverly and Ben got married, they ended up together, and Bill is the only one that has stayed in Derry because he's been taking care of his wife. But as they're going to leave, Bill has an idea. He had found his old bike Silver a little while ago, and he takes a catatonic Audra and puts her on the bike and starts riding through the town. And eventually she comes out of her catatonia and they kiss and the movie ends.